So they say, when in doubt, ask the experts. We are happy to be launching People's Cafe Expert Panel because what is better than hearing it from the experts who've been there and done it all? You can hear our panel of experts talk about things that matter in the world of business, corporate, your career, and your well being. Here you can expect loads of trending talks on power of branding, future of workplace, digital marketing, wellness, technology, and so much more. Today's expert panel, we are going to be talking about leveraging the power of branding in times of pandemic. So the current outbreak of coronavirus poses a number of challenges for brands. Global growth rates have taken a hit. The change in consumer behavior as they take proactive actions against the virus is likely to have immense social and economic impact. One of the immediate impacts of the pandemic is the scarcity of products and a disruption of supply chains. It goes without saying that these are the most challenging times for brand owners and marketers. There were signs of a slowdown already, and the outbreak has just increased the apprehensions. So we see that the product launches have been deferred, the malls and restaurants have down shutters, movie theaters are closed, streets are deserted, and travel had come to a grinding halt. But some are also seeing it as an extraordinary opportunity for brands to engage with their consumers. As more and more people around the globe get locked down in their homes, brands have captive audiences glued onto their television or mobile screens, consuming a lot of content. Today, our expert panel, which is Power of Branding in Times of Pandemic, shall have a lot of insights for you, and your takeaways shall be branding strategies and tips to enhance your brand value proposition. Today, we have with us our expert, Mr. Vaibhav Shinde, Senior Brand Manager at Zydus Wellness Limited, who's a passionate marketer with 10 plus years of experience in the world of business and brand marketing, with experience in companies such as Bajaj Consumer Care and Johnson& and Johnson. He has handled brands such as Bajaj Almond Drops Hair Oil, Listerine Mouthwash, and Shower to Shower Prickly Heat Powder, and currently he leads the brand Sugar Free. Vaibhav is an ex entrepreneur with a startup in the education space, and he loves to teach and share his knowledge. So, Vaibhav, once again, welcome to People's Cafe Expert Panel. And I would like you to start by talking about how has the pandemic impacted the world of marketing and brands, and what do you think have companies done to cope with it?
Thanks a lot, Priyanka, for that lovely introduction. I agree with you. I mean, this pandemic has been a challenging time for business. There have been business which have been severely impacted by the pandemic, but every coin has two sides, and even this pandemic has given a lot of opportunities for companies to try out with new products, new propositions, which have only benefited the consumers as well as the companies. So, if I have to talk about how have companies coped with it, or for example, as a marketeer, what do you do? There have been beautiful examples around us that companies have done. So, one of the important things for a marketeer is the number one focus would always be the consumer in the mind. And if you see in this pandemic, the consumer behavior and their needs have evolved and changed a lot. Uh, if I have to point out two, three important changes in the behavior, one is definitely health and hygiene
Mhm.
is now a critical aspect in the consumer's mind space. Everything he or she is actually thinking about is primarily protection, primarily about their health, keeping their hygiene to the perfect sense. A lot of immunity based things are coming up because people want to have that body to have that immunity to fight the virus and other issues. And also considering that uh, it's a difficult world right now because the support system that you had, for example, in terms of your daily support system, the maids or help that you had, is has limited because of the traveling issues and all. So convenience again is one important aspect that has seen as an important need gap in the consumer's requirement set. And if you look at a lot of companies in terms of their branding and marketing, actually have focused on these need gaps and issues. When you talk about marketing, it's basically if you refer to a few of the books of marketing, they focus on the important P's of marketing, the 4 P's or the 7 P's of marketing. So, for example, if I have to just take that framework and explain something to you, look at the product aspect. Since health and hygiene has been on top of mind for consumers, we have seen so many new categories come into play. We have seen companies like Marico and ITC launch new products. For example, Veggie Wash. I mean, who would have imagined before the pandemic that people would have a specialized product to wash their vegetables and fruits, right? But yeah, there is this fear that is there among the consumers that what if the virus travels or comes through the vegetables and daily fruits. And here was a need that was there, which was identified by these companies, and products were launched, and within very quick turnaround times. So that is a beautiful example of what companies have done. Look at sanitizers as a category, for example. I mean, companies have extended their brands. To give an example, even in our company, we have a brand called Nicel, which is into germ protection and prickly heat. And using that brand attribute and that brand property of germ protection, we in fact went in and launched a Nicel hand sanitizers, which is doing pretty well in the market right now. So other example would be ITC with this iconic brand of Savlon. Actually, it has come into hand sanitizers. People have launched, companies have launched sanitizers in a ₹1 sachet. Look at the opportunity that is available because of just a new need gap in the market. So one is on the product aspect, you see a lot of innovations and innovations that are really solving consumer needs. If I talk about, for example, the other P of marketing, which is proposition. So what is the benefit that you're giving to your consumer? A lot of established brands have in fact repositioned themselves to talk about immunity. Be it the other day I saw a communication from the brand called Revital, which is all about energy and being energetic throughout the day. Now the brand is talking about immunity because that is the need of the hour. You talk about a brand like Horlicks, which is always about making your kids sharper and development. That is also talking about immunity. So that is what a consumer wants right now. And if you want to tap onto a consumer trend and solve the consumer need gap, that is how you also reposition a brand, and that might not be for a longer period of time, probably for a shorter period of time, because considering this pandemic would, I hope it lasts for not more than 1 year now, considering the vaccine work is going on. But yeah, I mean, if you want to capitalize a trend, that is what you do. And there are examples which I see have been good in terms of your marketing and branding, but there are some examples that I've seen which have been just opportunistic in nature, and it might not last for long. And one example in branding I want to give is about Santoor soap. So you would recall the ad of Santoor soap, which is "Aapki त्वचा से आपकी उम्र का पता ही नहीं चलता." That is such an iconic advertisement that we've seen for past 20 years. And when the pandemic came in March, April, I saw even Santur talking about hand protection and germ protection, which was kind of weird for me. But yeah, I mean, companies have their own strategies and own marketing philosophies. So yeah, it is an interesting times. The other consumer trend that I'd like to talk about, and brands across FMCG companies have actually capitalized that, is people shifting to online for their shopping. And there was obviously a trend that was there for the past 4 5 years now, But suddenly you have seen a step change in that because people don't want to venture out for shopping, right? And also it is more convenient. I mean, you just with the click of a button you can get stuff from Big Basket or Grofers of the world
Mhm.
and delivered, and it's also safe and hygienic.
Mhm.
So in fact, across companies, e-commerce has been growing by at least 2x, 3x rate. So again, that's a consumer behavior change that has been seen, and marketeers like us have been capitalizing on that by investing more on these platforms, by incentivizing consumers with promotional offers over there so that you can get into the household. So those are the few examples that come on top of my mind in terms of product innovations or proposition changes, or even capitalizing on the e-commerce development that has been happening. In fact, I remember when we were working on sugar free during the pandemic, when it just came, when it just hit us. And what we understood is that the government is also telling people to stay home and stay safe. And we all know that you want to be fit, right, when you are at home as well. And we had seen a trend that since people had a lot of time at home, they were trying to cook a lot of things, trying to make a lot of desserts, or every person has a chef inside him or her. That Sanjeev Kapoor was coming alive in each one and every one of them. So we saw that's a great opportunity to capitalize, and even we launched a campaign called "Stay Home, Stay Fit" with sugar free. And if you're making desserts, or even if you're having consuming tea, you can just avoid those calories of sugar by having sugar free. So and a lot of brands did such unique activations with consumers because it's very important that you engage with the consumers actively, and you make the consumers feel that the brand understands what the consumer is going through, and we are trying to be topical and we be on top of mind for that consumer.
Mhm.
So those I think are the key strategies that anyone as a marketeer should use is be close to the consumer, understand what are the consumer changes in terms of behavior, in terms of needs that are evolving. And if you are there with the right product, with the right proposition, in the right price point, definitely as a marketer and as a business person, you will definitely succeed. Um, uh, so yeah, I mean, it's a very interesting time.
Mhm.
I mean, it's a once in a lifetime thing that happens, right? I mean, when was the last time the entire world was hit by a pandemic? I think it was Spanish flu in 1920s, I guess.
Yes.
So yeah, so it's a unique experience, and it's great to be in the peak of your marketing career in such an environment. Loads of learning for all business fraternity, I guess.
Mhm. Wow, there are some very good insights, from what you just said, Vaibhav. And on that note, I should also add that the chef inside of me was also, just trying to come out and use its creativity. And I have been using sugar free for my gajar halwas and lauki halwas and suji halwas. So, but yes, I do agree to the point on brand innovation and brand repropositioning, because everyone out there really is talking about immunity, and it's really become the buzzword. So I know you touched upon this, but what consumer trends do you foresee evolving, and how do you see branding evolving in line with that?
So see, what I see is this trend around health and hygiene and immunity would continue,
Mhm.
considering that it'll take at least 1 or 2 years for the vaccine, for example, to be for everyone in India, for example, to be vaccinated. So that health and hygiene and immunity would remain on top of mind, and you would continue to see a lot of new products come into the foray in terms of consumers landscape. um, uh, just recently, I saw Dabur has come up with a product called Dabur Tulsi Drops. Product which you can add in your tea or in your morning warm water, and it will give you immunity. So things like this is are definitely going to continue for the next 1 or 2 years. Um, may not be the impact or the increment that we saw in the months of April, May, June, July, when the pandemic was on like top of mind, and everyone was thinking about immunity. Everyone wanted to have vitamin C tablets daily, for example, or everyone was using sanitizers for even one interaction outside their home. So that has definitely been reduced. Things are opening up now. People are back on the streets. They go into their offices now. You can see traffic in Mumbai is slowly picking up. So definitely people want to go out, and COVID as a thing of top of mind. What was there in quarter 2 or quarter 3, that would definitely fizzle out a bit. But still, immunity, health, hygiene would continue to be a priority for the next 1 or 2 years at least. The other thing I see is uh, what COVID has done is there have been a lot of habits that have changed for consumers, and it's very difficult to change a consumer habit. I mean, Kellogg's has been trying for 20 odd years to change the breakfast habit of Indian people, but still Indians want to have that poha upmas of the world. And now Kellogg's have launched an upma extension. So it's very difficult to change habits. But COVID has actually helped to change a lot of health and hygiene habits, be it the usage of sanitizers, be it the usage of products used for washing your fruits and vegetables, or even your habit of purchasing products, grocery products online. So now, for example, people who have actually started shopping on a big basket of loafers, they will definitely stick to it because they have seen the amount of convenience you get when you do an online shopping, and the amount of benefit in terms of rate advantage that you get, the price advantage that you get. So there are a lot of behavioral changes that COVID has impacted, which would sustain. Products like us also, for example, people who have now adopted into sugar free, while some of them might drop off, but now it has become a part of their daily diet. So that also gives us advantage as a brand to, and has a stickiness. So definitely these would be the top of mind things for the next 1 or 2 years at least. And yeah, interesting times, and it's very it would be very nice to see how brands and companies continue to innovate so as to keep on harping upon this trend. So yeah, interesting times.
Yeah. And that reminds me that actually even people of, let's say, generation of our parents or grandparents, the baby boomers, they have adopted digital in a big way. Like I see my
Absolutely.
parents now using Amazon. I see my mother using Big Basket more often, which was until now an optional thing because she always preferred to reach out to her local kirana for home delivery. But you are right
Absolutely.
when you say that the whole digital transformation that the pandemic has brought in has kind of, in a way, permanently changed consumer habits. And now they are
Yeah.
even well versed on Zoom. So,
In fact, this entire digital space or the way it's evolving, the entire media consumption habit of consumers has been changed in 6 months. I
mhm,
mean, I don't remember the last time in this COVID period I actually read a newspaper. I mean, because of the
mhm,
fear that newspaper can actually, I
mhm,
mean, transmit the virus,
mhm,
people have not subscribed onto that, and now people are used to digital news. Even not just young generation like us, but even our parents are now consuming content on online space, right?
mhm,
So print, for example, in terms of advertising, has seen a big impact. I recently read a news that Mumbai Mirror, which was supplement to Times
mhm,
of
mhm,
India, they have decided to, I guess, go on a weekly mode of operation rather than a daily mode of operation, because that is the impact on readership that has happened. So while there has been opportunities for few companies in terms of benefits, there
mhm,
have been some industries which have been impacted in a worse way. For example, look at outdoor advertising.
mhm,
Um, uh, The other day I was going to South Bombay, and typically the Eastern Express Highway, the hoardings there, you'll never see that there any hoardings don't have any ad on that. But the other day there were no ads. I mean, because people are not outside. And so whom do I show that out of home advertising to? Or take for radio, for example. That business has been impacted because most of the people listen to radio as a medium when they are traveling. For example, when you're in the car, you're turning on a radio, and while you're driving, you listen to the radio. But people are not going out nowadays. People are working from home. So while digital media has seen a lot of impact in terms of consumption improvement, the other medias, print, radio, outdoor, they're facing a tough time. And yeah, I mean, these mediums were facing difficulties before COVID as well, but COVID has just accelerated the difficulty levels for these mediums. So, as a marketer, you need to understand that if you want to reach your consumer, what is the right medium or what is the right approach to reach the consumer? For example, if I want to reach the consumer, I would probably use print and radio as well pre-COVID times. Now I won't. Now I would increase my budgets on digital because I know people are consuming a lot of content online rather than actually consuming content on a radio or a print. Actually on digital Facebooks of the world. In fact, looking at this e-commerce growth, there are many companies that have actually launched digital-only brands. So brands that actually are present only on the e-com world and not available in normal mom and pop shops. In fact, even we launched one of our brands called Sugar Free Delight dark chocolates in this pandemic just a month back. Trying to leverage this opportunity of this e-com space as well as extend the brand into another category. So yeah, I mean, the impact has been positive for few, negative for few. But that is what changes as a marketer. You need to adapt to your change, adapt to the changes, and navigate and try to grow and leverage the opportunities.
Well, yes, I couldn't agree more when you say that the change has been both on the positive and the negative side. So, coming to my last point, Vaibhav, what are some learnings for marketers, and what is some tip that you would like to leave them with?
So my learning, and I'll probably keep it to 2 or 3 points. One is marketing is all about fundamentals and basics, and one of the most important uh, basics that you are taught in marketing is keep your consumer in your mind. Who is your consumer? What are the changes that are happening in the consumer's behavior, attitudes, and the needs? And if you see that the consumer is undergoing a particular behavioral change and their needs are evolving, and if you see that need would become a very big need in the next 5 to 10 years, if you have that vision, tapping onto that need and launching new products or propositions or way to reach those will definitely help you in the long run. So rather than actually talking about products first or marketing first, it's all about consumers first. If you know your consumers, you will be able to make the right products or the right things for them. That's the one thing. Second aspect that I've understood is agility. In today's world, if there is an opportunity, you have to be agile to capitalize that, because there are a lot of other companies, a lot of other brands already trying to capitalize that opportunity, and it's a competitive world. You might take your time to think, analyze, and do stuff, but if you miss that right moment, people might have the advantage and get that share. So I think it's all about keeping consumers in the mind, and second is being agile, especially in this digital world, so as to quickly solve for those need gaps and use these opportunities. That would be my 2 bits on how do we go about it.
Some very valuable insights there from you, Vaibhav. And on that note, I would just like to also add in a perspective that some brands have understood that consumers want them to demonstrate their leadership and action by taking care of society. So they started to act through many different approaches. And some examples that come to my mind are that Logitech was donating free webcams and headsets to teachers for virtual teaching. Ford Motor Company was shifting gears to lend manufacturing and engineering expertise to help build respirators and ventilators for hospitals. Crocs donates about 10,000 pair of shoes every day to healthcare workers. And Citibank offered to postpone credit card payments. Sky offered their paid channels for free for a limited time. HBO offered free use of their digital channel. And of course, Uber Eats offered free delivery orders. So, as Vaibhav said, the right message at the right time and the right communication channel will be a powerful weapon for building brand engagement and trust. So, no matter the situation of a crisis, a brand message content should use the right insights by understanding what really motivates the consumer, what their priorities are in life, and what daily challenges they face. So, brands as people will always face a crisis in different ways. We must keep in mind that citizens, consumers, common people will always seek for guidance and comfort from others that choose to play a leading role in times where hope is the only thing we can embrace. So, Vaibhav, on that note, I would like to thank you for sharing your valuable insights, for making time from your busy schedule to be part of expert panel at People's Cafe.
Thanks a lot, Priyanka, for involving me, and I would really appreciate the initiative that you have taken in terms of sharing knowledge with people, especially in these difficult times. So kudos to your team at People's Cafe for this wonderful work, and I hope to be a part of many more sessions like this where I can help share my knowledge and my learnings. And yeah, that's it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much for that encouragement, Vaibhav. And of course, you will be definitely part of our future interventions as well.